Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, June 5th, 1 a.m. Mountain Time, 2019. You're looking at the GFS total accumulated precipitation in inches through mid-June, and with crop losses in the upper Midwest and other areas not looking good. We're talking 5 to 12 inches of rain through Iowa, Kansas, and the Southeast, including the Mid-Atlantic. It's not time to panic. It's time to keep calm. It's boom time. You've entered the boom room. Heads up, Montreal just officially broke an all-time cold weather record. Brrr! Another day, another record for the worst spring ever in Montreal. It's no secret that the summer is off to a rocky start. Yesterday was one of the coldest June 3rds in recorded history. It was the coldest June 3rd in recorded history because there was no other recorded history. This colder weather was predicted a few weeks ago. They told Canadians to expect a cold, damp spring and equally cold June. Well, I thought it was global warming. Who changed the narrative? This is just after Montreal broke a 142-year rainfall record, which is an all-time record because that's as long as records have been kept. Fraud alert. Fraud alert. Mount Washington is expecting snow. Yes, they got it. Burlington. Oh, actually, it's North Conway, New Hampshire. I love the bagels there. The coffee's amazing. I love their coffee. What's going on here? I closed that tab. There's still snow in Michigan on June 3rd. Holy macaroni. Bill Steffen. Mount Ripley. The pick above is from the evening of June 3rd, 2019. The pick is from Sunday, June 2nd, 2019. A lot of picks. Pick it. Pick your pick. There's still a few patches of snow. There's still snow in the Lurium Glacier. If someone catches when the Lurium Glacier is gone, let me know, and I'll post that. I know there's a contest every year to guess which day the snow is finally gone. This area really had a cold and snowy winter. May was 5.7 degrees colder than average in Marquette, and Marquette is 4.2 degrees colder than average for the year so far. Holy sh! Here's the North American snow and ice cover. Take a look. Catastrophic Midwest flooding threatens farmers' crops. Yes, it does. Fort Smith, Arkansas, heavy flooding along the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers is starting to impact farmers in Fort Smith, Arkansas. A boat is the only way to get to Justin Seabo's farm. Every inch of his 10,000 acres is under 2 feet of Arkansas water. Boom! Weeks of heavy rain have brought catastrophic flooding from Missouri to Oklahoma to Arkansas. 15 counties along the swollen Arkansas River were bracing for more record crests, with levels now 15 feet above flood stage. In Pine Bluff, it's tough. The water swallowed up several homes and businesses. Damn. Arkansas communities hold sandbag parties and prepare for dark flood days ahead. It's dab time in Arkansas. As the fan hits the shizzy, U.S. National Guard assisting the North Little Rock community in Arkansas with floods expected to continue this week and into the summer. Totally a bummer. Published Tuesday, June 4th, extreme flooding across Midwest, exactly in line with scientific warnings of climate crisis, according to experts. We are living in a flooding climate change right now. The only problem is, just a year ago, the secret was in the trees, and humans were making droughts worse. Yeah. In fact, researchers used tree ring data to find droughts as far back as 1400, blaming it all on humans. We know that the greenhouse gases caused by humans have been affecting global drought since the early 20th century. It's your fault that we're flooding in this drought. It's your fault. This drought is clearly the flooding that's happening. If you want to know about scientific facts, check out Svensmark's work, even the cloud experiment over at CERN, where they prove that increased cosmic rays cause increased cloud nucleation, which causes increased rain, which causes increased flooding, which means you're fluxed through August 2018, up and away. And even if we come over here to Oulu, Finland, cosmic ray monitoring, you're fluxed there as well. But we want you to keep calm, because even though you're fluxed, the global warmest will have you believe that the flooding is caused by drought. Snow buried a car in California's Mount Shasta reappears 1 year later. I hope no one was in there. Steve Lewis stumbled upon an abandoned car, snow-covered, while hiking in Mount Shasta in California last winter. He reported the car empty, only to find it 1 year again. Do a dab. Do a dab. Finding a car. I had about enough of that. Freezing cold snow possible this weekend. Global warming to blame. Heavy snowfalls and whitefish on February 28th. Traffic moves along the US 93. Daily Interlake, a wild temperature swing predicted this weekend, has the potential to bring freezing cold and a shot of late spring snow into the region. The National Weather Service in Missoula, Montana on Tuesday warned that a 20-degree temperature drop is possible Friday through early next week, with the thermometer dipping to levels well below normal for June. Must be global warming. I mean, 20 degrees colder. I'm even going to get bolder. Look at the snow piling up in the Northwest. Is the best. Over a foot of snow here in northern Wyoming, as well as western Montana, northern Idaho, Washington, Oregon. It's boom time. It's snowing in summer. Not yet. It's not summer yet. And the flooding will continue. I don't know how they're planting. I don't know how they plan on it. I don't know how they plan on the planting. How could you plant in that? Tropical moisture headed towards soggy south central U.S. Hey! Severe storms possible in the Ohio Valley and mid-Atlantic. Tropical moisture from an area not expected to develop off South Texas. Not expected? Will spread heavily across areas already saturated in flooding, including areas that will flood and continue to flood for weeks to come. Yeah, heads up. South Texas, Southwest Louisiana, everywhere on the Mississippi, from eastern Missouri south. It's your misery. It's going to continue. Wild, woolly, and rare parts of Australia blanketed with snow. In what forecasters are calling a rare event, Australia saw snow Monday in parts of its eastern coast that hadn't had significant snowfall in 4 years. A few snowflakes seen this morning near New South Wales border in Uki, just south of Santhrop. The bomb, who can suck it, by the way, wrote in a tweet that we're not burning up after all. Kangaroos are jumping for joy. Yeah, they removed those tweets. SpaceX's Amazing Dragon CRS-17 NASA cargo launch and landing in photos. Take a look. Well, no, we won't. I got to get to bed. Seismic update. Remember when I reported on a 5.4 in North New Zealand? It happened. Right on cue. No other quakes of note. 5.6 Taiwan. following a 6 mag in that region offshore. We had some activity on the west coast earlier today. Hey. But worldwide volcano news update. No volcanoes of note. Ducono, Reventador, Sabancaya, sporadic puffs, 27,000 feet. Popo, Nevados de Chilan, and others. Nothing spectacular. Thankfully. Prague anti-prime minister protest, biggest since the end of communism. Yeah, they're flooding the streets. Tens of thousands of people have protested the Czech capital, Prague, calling the resignation of Prime Minister Andrej Babis, if that's even his name. That's just the beginning. They're going to be protesting the end of everybody. As people starve and eat their neighbors, human civilization faces existential risk by 2050, according to new Australian climate change report. Now, as the bomb freezes its ass off with record snows never seen for over 50 years, pricks like this continue to fearmonger and say we're all dead. And it's existential, whatever that means, and he's got a vest on. So he looks pretty important. Yes, he does. Does he have a Mexican Coke? I doubt it. They're illegal in Australia, just like guns. The great dying nearly erased life on Earth. Scientists see similarities to today as they fearmonger your ass to more taxes. That looks like the West Coast in just a few years. My God. Are you listening? Have you parts of Ontario actually woke up to snow this morning? It was genuinely cold in Ontario last night, and anyone who sat outside to watch Game 2 on their city's respective Jurassic Park can attest to that. Algonquin Provincial Park, a historic national park in south central Ontario, capped off the first weekend of June with surprise snow flurries. In a hurry. Sign of the times. Important NASA Global Mean Sea Level Data Series correlates perfectly with NOAA's global CO2. With a probability of 0.99, which means someone stole someone else's data, and it's probably NASA. Sea level data has likely been faked. Like a snake. Like a graph. Someone got hired to put a few jiggles in it, and then there you go. It's insane. I can't believe the world I live in. Can't believe how bright this fucking light is. Have I told you about how high the water is getting in Pagosa? See this red line? Yeah. That's boom time. That's flood stage. We just touched it. We're touching it. Tippy touch. Do you know how much snow is up in the mountains? You know what the snow water equivalent up there is? 400% where I'm at of normal. If it rains or it falls, it's going to rise. It's going to rise above the red line. Most instantaneous 2980. 3980 was the max in 57. We're going to get there. Like swimwear. Watch us as we watch the river peak. Are you peaking? Heavy rain, gale force winds, heavy snow cut off Blue Mountains, forced ferry closures. The wild weather brought the east coast to its knees today in Australia, forcing ferries to be cancelled, trains to be delayed, and shrimps to be put on the barbie. Commuters have been warned. Have you been warned? Commuters trying to get out of Sydney tonight are being encouraged to leave extra time to get home after wild weather brought to the east coast to its knees. Wood-burning stoves have been banned and shrimps on the barbie are illegal. Ferries across Sydney Harbour were cancelled for more than 6 hours hours of powers as people were looking for shrimps and wood-burning stoves. Strong winds dragged trees into busy city roads, and trains were delayed this morning, according to the BOM. The east coast of New South Wales and Sydney was smashed by huge winds and heavy rains for most of the day. Hey, hey. Earlier, at least 5 yachts had been ripped from the moorings, smashed into the beach in Manly. In Sydney's North Beaches, huge swells continue to hit the coast with the most. Dabworthy, many property developers like Greg Chamindos, who's clearly from Greece, was watching owners and locals frantically try to rescue the rest of the boats before the swells pushed them into the sandy little Manly beach, where they were beached. Clearly. There's a beached boat. Beached. 11,000 people have been forced to evacuate as firefighters battle wildfires in Canada. Now, one of our listeners sent me shots the other day of the night sky, and I said it's probably a wildfire. Well, the Chuckegg Creek wildfire burning in Mackenzie County in North Alberta is proof in the pudding. Wildfires in Alberta, Canada have burned more than 700,000 acres of land, have forced 11,000 people to evacuate, according to the province's government. The government of Alberta said that at least 2 out of the controlled wildfires burning in the area of the Chuckegg Creek wildfire and the Jackpot Creek wildfire are burning out of control. The Chuckegg Creek wildfire burning in Mackenzie County, just 2 miles south of the town of Mackenzie, high level, has burned nearly 692,000 acres, while the Jackpot Creek wildfire near Steen River is not a jackpot, but a smoking pot that has burned more than 61,000 acres, government officials said. While some areas in the fire zone may see rain Thursday and Friday, that will be their Pi Day, accompanied by cooler temperatures. There is no meaningful rainfall expected the rest of the week in the Chuckegg Creek and Jackpot Creek areas, which means you're up the Schitt's Creek without the paddle, basically. Drinking coffee, even 25 cups a day, not bad for your heart. Drink it up! Drink up. I always knew it. Antioxidants. Grind your own. Seismic update, no quakes of note, except the one I predicted. On time, 5.4. It's not there. I know it already. We only do an update every 2 days. It's rough. Good times. Waiting on it. Did you hear? Yellowstone eruption simulation shows how world really could end in just days after the blast. Now, they stole this from a clip from some movie from... Wow, we can't even ham it up. Well, we tried. We used ham. And I'm not even Muslim, but I still touched the ham. Or however that works. I don't know how that works. If Yellowstone blows up, you're all dead. Especially if you live near there. NASA solar storm warning. Another Carrington event will cost trillions in damage. Billions upon trillions. Almost zillions. Rapidcooling.net, rapidcooling.net, rapidcooling.net. Tom Fish, Express County, June 3rd. Kudos, time in Oppenheimer Ranch Project, which is why we're sharing this. Rapidcooling.net. It's a blog. The attached article talks about how a Carrington-like event would affect our modern-day society. You would be totally influxed. You know what that means? That means that if you had to go to work and something like that happened, well, let's just say, is that an eyeball? What is that? That's an eyeball, isn't it? What the fuck is going on? The positive impacts of human CO2 emissions on the survival of life on Earth. Wow, very few people talking about this except Patrick Moore, PhD, March 2015. Here's his executive summary. The study looks at the positive environmental effects of carbon dioxide, which very few people look at because that would have their ass and their job, which is far too often ignored in the current discussions about climate change policy. All life is carbon-based, and the primary source of its carbon is CO2. Who knew in the global atmosphere? As recently as 18,000 years ago, at the height of the most recent major glaciation, CO2 dipped to its lowest level in recorded history at 180 parts per million, almost killing off all life on Earth. It was enough to stunt plant growth, and we don't ever want to get back there again. So having levels soar above 450 we should be, well, dancing in the streets, to be quite honest, because the sun drives climate, not you. And the solar storm is coming, and the grid will go down. And if you don't know how to grow food, well, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance, now doesn't it? Pennsylvania woman dies at the same Dominican hotel 5 days before a Maryland couple died in similar circumstance. When they drank from the minibar, they died instantly. You do the math, and it's not very mathematical. It's chemical. Solar storm risk to the North American electric grid. If you don't know about it, this PFD will be linked below. If you don't know how to find it, well, aren't you fluxed? It's almost like you need to open up your eyeball and look around. Just like open it up. Because birchwood will only be around for, so long. And then it's gone. It's gone. That is delicious. Man, that's delicious. It is calculated that if a decline in CO2 levels were to continue at the same rate as it has over the past 140 million years, life on Earth would begin to die. The combustion of fossil fuels for energy and power in human civilization has actually saved our ass and has greened the planet. Yeah. You're not dying. All the green and yellow and blue, that's 10, 20, and 30% of amazing. Open up your eyes, man. That's how amazing you are. Solar storms are going to take you out. But the positive impacts of CO2 will help you out. That's my shout out. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance in the grand solar minimum, in the magnetic reversal, in the times that are changing, which are indeed stranging. So, fasten your seatbelts, kids. Anything's possible. The governments and the powers that be are going to manipulate the situation to their fascination. Are you ready? Thanks to all our Patreons for supporting us. Thanks to Top Knot for sending me out those tools. I have some of the most awesome shovels ever existed. Are you ready to work? I doubt it. Over 80% of you have no idea how much work it takes to survive in a world that is not the paradigm you're currently living. When the lights go out, where will you get food? Have you thought about that? It's not a joke. It's a fact. Coming soon. And that's a boom. Be safe. We love you.